Hey everybody, I hope you're all having a great day so far, and I hope you had a great weekend too. Um, been pretty busy for me. Well, just been worried about my dog, but she's finally starting to get back to normal, so yeah, happy ending there. But yeah, let's go ahead and get to Tactical Lizard Tamer. So we're going to continue on with the animation system today. Yesterday, I think, or not yesterday, last stream, we got it to where a script will successfully cause the models to animate. Is there an error? I'm going to rotate on egg dino. Okay, yeah, so we are testing to make sure that it knew that the rotate parameter is not an integer. And we can see for ourselves, we open up the egg dino animator, rotate is supposed to be a boolean. And then here in the script, we call set integer. So if I just change this to set boolean, then restart the game, there should not be an error, and the egg dino should play our very rudimentary rotate animation. Oh, not quite. Not convert a number. Oh, of course. Here I need to change this to true instead of 1. Okay, so yeah, so now it's playing the rotate animation, we know, just because it's frozen. And I think, yeah, I received a command, model 1 boolean, name, rotate, and value true. And so it actually said it. That is here, where that happens. I also forgot on the toString I need to have a closing parenthesis. Alright, so I think we're all done with that. We have all the error checking and everything complete. So now I want to get into the movement system. And I think, again, well, we already know how we want the script to work. So if we move back to the ability scripts, which is what our final use case is going to be that we're trying to implement. We call the do rotate and do move linear. And since a user and a target position, and then this keyword here can either be speed, timer, or animation, and it just means it's basically the speed to move between these positions. So either an absolute speed, move in a certain time, or move in sync with an animation is the 3 modes I'd like to support. So I usually like to start from the scripts and work up, but I don't think there's a whole lot I need to do here. I guess in the animations Lua object, I can go ahead and just create the hook that will let Lua call our C# functions, whatever it will be. So here. Yeah, see this do move arc, which is another movement that we'll need for a jump, which obviously just moves also in an arc instead of just linear. Has this height parameter, but I guess that's not that big of a deal. I'm trying to think. Like this value can be different depending on what this value is. So let's see, for time, I guess this would just be another float. For animation, maybe we would pass in this weight variable. That's actually a good point. I don't really know how the animation will work yet because we can't actually, like, the Unity animation system, at least for 3D models, it's not a good idea just to tell it to go to this rotate state. It's better to use these parameters because if you just say play rotate, then it won't blend well with the state that you're in. So there's not really a way. I'm trying to think of how you can have the scripts tell the system to synchronize with a specific animation. Good, something to consider. I kind of, well, I guess we'll wait and try and implement this later once I figure that out. I guess the best way to do it would be that if you pass animation, that it would just try to synchronize with whatever animation plays after the set boolean is, or all the parameters before are taken into account by the state machine. The only difficult thing about that is that I think we'd have to wait one frame to basically find the period for the animation, but I guess that's not that difficult because I don't think the animator will update right away when you set this boolean. But yeah, so I'll just implement that later. So I guess for now, we'll just have dynamic value is the target. Oh, this is what we're trying to open. Or the user, and then we want to get block position for the target position. And then a string for the timer type, and then a float. This will be, let's just do move linear for now. I guess this will be the target for the animation, and then I'll call the board position final position. I guess this will be period type and the float good argument. And then all we'll just do is pass it along to this function that we're given. If we want, I don't know, oh, this is fine. We could just make a generic do move and then pass more information in the structure type. Okay, so we don't need this class anymore. Okay, and this is the class that gets these functions, or yeah, sets these functions into the Lua interface. So we want something like this first, I think. Actually, this is kind of like the middleman class, so we should probably do the class on the side of the UX or the interface that actually will set the positions of the monsters. Okay, so let's see. I guess, yeah, let's just make one class for each type of movement. Also, I know I'm going to need one class that will just position a monster. Because, for instance, at the beginning of the game, the monsters should already be in their given position, but I mean, that they're given at the start of the game. But right now, the monsters stack on top of each other because they're actually not positioned. This just happens to be the 000. See that if we go to the monster models and I move one away, the other one's just stacked under it. And really, it should be, I think, somewhere over here. So maybe I should do that class first and can use some of the logic that both of them have in common. Okay, let's see. And we'll pass an autocontroller here. If I can spell it right. RLR. First thing we need to do, well, even before we initialize everything, is I should probably write the function that actually receives these position commands. And actually, even before that, write the class that the game logic and the UX will pass between each other for these commands. And this can just be a structure because it's basically just going to be information passed between objects, and so nothing in here will change after it's initially set. And we'll just have the model ID and I guess the position. Okay, so now this will receive those commands through a query, but or not even through a query, just a message. So just call execute. From here, we'll just need to get the model, which the param setter to get the model right now, it's as easy as just oh, I have this get animator function. Yeah, it's as easy as just using the model ID as a monster ID because monsters are the only models that we have in the game right now. But that will probably change. So I should probably have a class that will convert this index into a model easier. Maybe even this monster models. Okay, I should probably, well, no, because not all models will have this information. Maybe it should. So I'll rename this to model registry. Need to rename the file as well. Not sure what happened right there. Okay, and then also rename this to just model data. It should be more like model components. Okay, so of course some models won't actually have a monster collider, but I'll go ahead and rename it. Anything that's not a monster might not even have a collider, but okay, so now the model registry will just have a list of models, and all the models will be input into the list in its specific, at its model ID. So that makes that easier. Now what's the class that actually sets these? Okay, right here, the monster model creator. So instead of just typing add, I'll just put safe set. And and the safe set is just a function I've written that will set this object at this index even if the list isn't big enough yet. It will actually increase the size of the list to accommodate it. And right now it's going to be exactly the same as add, but just in case we change this index at some point, it will work better. Okay, so now the good thing is that any class that only cares if it's a model and not specifically if it's a monster doesn't actually care how the model index was given to it. So that make things like this always, like right here, just always fine. We won't have to change this code. So that means grab this code. And then we can get a transform from the model ID dot transform. Why does that not work? Oh, I'm probably not using Unity engine. Oh, right, and this should be models. Okay, that's a little weird, but okay, and the position is pretty simple as well. Close command dot position. What is the function that actually gives us the world position from a block position? Hex math. To world, and then we. Okay, so we're actually given just the board position instead of a hex position. What would be easier? Maybe a hex position, actually, now that I think about it. That makes this class a little bit more data agnostic. I guess we'll still need to get the game data so we can have the board metrics, which tell us the world length between each hexagon. Okay, that's it for this class. Now something needs to, oh, I need to actually register my message. So, folder, subscribe message. I don't have to give it a tag because nothing else will actually use this command. Okay, so now if anything sends something over this message channel, then it will be executed here. So where do I want monsters to actually be positioned? I feel like I should do it somewhere in the actual game instead of just automatically setting it when this is created. Map controller. Map. Positioner. I guess I'll go ahead and create the linear mover while I'm here. And have this structure yet, so it's going to complain to me. I think it actually creates a bit too much. Don't need to store this. So right now we have like this realized map, which I never have really liked. But it causes everything to be set up. Okay, well the problem here is that this initialization code will probably change because we don't actually have a team building phase. So that's why I've been kind of using this hacky method. Maybe I'll just continue to use it for now. And yeah, whenever we get rid of that realize map command, we'll fix up everything else. Also, I remembered that I should change this, the message archetype, to command, so that way it won't complain to me if I have more than one object claim the message. Okay, so positioner. Claim message. No tag actually. The type. Okay, yeah, this, I think about it, animation should almost certainly not be in the play namespace. Anything in here actually use anything else in the play? Oh, it uses a turn phase, but script manager. Oh, well no. All these things, they only deal with getting the Lua script, so yeah, it's fine. Maybe the command should not be, but I don't really like this. It's time that I clean this whole thing up. So I guess I'm gonna say maybe the play scene should just assume that everything is set up when it's initialized, but that might not be the case, because if you're reloading, then you would skip the team building phase, so the map wouldn't be created already. I guess I would just have like a map initializer object right here and it would just run right away. Because right now it's like building this team build controller, but really no matter what way that we enter in the map controller, we just want to start up, initialize the map immediately. Okay, so let's do that. This makes me think I need to go ahead and have like a rudimentary team build. Just decide how I actually want it to work. Because now I wonder if the team building phase would actually want to view the map. Well, I guess it would need to see what the map's like, because that might influence which monsters you choose to battle with, so... And obviously we're in a team build phase. Monsters probably wouldn't be on the map right away. Okay, I think I'm probably thinking too hard about this. We just need to get something done now, and obviously in the future we can come and polish it. Yeah. Class, I think all it's going to do is just call this message. Not sure why I'm having such a hard time figuring out how I want to do this. Let's see. Well, right now, we always enter in through the team build phase. Oh, unless it's a save file. So right here, we already have this set up a little bit. Really, this realize map, it creates the terrain and then loads all the monster models. Maybe this is like an initialization phase that should happen before everything else. So actually, probably this should happen. Oh, where is it? Play. I have the init intro manager. So, I wonder what this was for. Oop. So I think what this says is it was supposed to play like a quick intro when the game starts, but right now all it does is just move on the first frame, or after a specific time actually. So probably even before this happens, I should load everything up. Yeah, so it's, where is it, the... Okay, well, I guess the interface has timer. You can just add a loading phase to this, that might be the easiest. So I guess right now we'll just assume that the team build phase does absolutely nothing because that's how it is right now. And then later on, when the team build phase does do a little more, we can add a little more to it. So by the time we get here, everything should be set up because the terrain was generated and we've just got to like create all the monster prefabs. So, but maybe just in case, I can use a work list to make sure that all the work that need to be done here completed. I know I just kind of repeated myself, but this worker list is a kind of interesting object that I recently added, and all it does is it allows, it's kind of like a message because the whole point is to try and decouple code, but basically you create it and register it in the game components, and any number of objects can add themselves to the list, and then when you tell the list to start, it will send a message to all objects to start its work, and then they can each say they're done, and when everything is done, then you'll get a message back. I think that's what I'll do here because I want to try to use these more because it makes the classes not have to care quite as much about the flow of other classes that are depending on them. Okay, so right now, yeah, we don't want to go to timer, we'll go to loading. Which I guess I should rename this like setup because we're not actually going to load anything. Okay, and the work list is color. Claim worker list, and I do have to put a tag here. I guess this will just be intro setup work, and then I have to give it an on all complete callback. Okay, so let's just generate an enumeration member and also this method. It doesn't want to create a method for me. So, oh, I accidentally created this function. Okay, so I don't know why it's creating the method here. That doesn't really make any sense to me. But I guess I'll just create the callback here, make me type it all out. Yep. I think it's argumentless. Oh, it's supposed to be a listener. Okay, that was the problem. So it's just a simple listener, which means we don't, all we do is just call this function whenever the listener is spoken. Oh, right, and this should be workless claim. Okay. So here, we actually don't need to start taking just yet. Yeah, so that, and I'm not sure you set the timer yet. And we just call, actually, one confusing thing is that I have to make sure that if this does finish right away on the same frame, I can't set this value again because, oh, well no, actually I could. Yeah, I can set it again. It's just you can't set this value while an iteration is happening of the intro phase. And that won't happen here, so I don't actually need to do that. The work list. Start work. And then when everything's complete, then we'll call, well, we won't do anything, we'll just start the timer. And, oh yeah, and I'll increase the intro phase. Oh. Okay, so we're all good there. Interesting. So if this list is empty, I think that it'll hang forever. How do I want to deal with that? Probably the worker list should just call on complete right away. Let's see. And we call then start. Yeah, so we notify start, but if there's no workers, if all workers count as 0, then we'll do something different here. I guess just right away I would call this. Okay, signal all complete. So when I do that, now the code should work just like it used to. Let's make sure. Okay, it's still loading. There we go. We actually got an error. Reclaimed exception. Position command. Oh. I think because here, wait, it's map subcontroller. Yeah, when I claim this, I forgot to give it the correct archetype. But we actually don't need this anymore because that's the whole reason we're rewriting that code with the worker list is to get rid of that realize map command in there. Okay, yeah, so now everything works like before, which is just what I wanted to check. Okay, so first of all, I want to get rid of this realize map completely and move that. And here in the intro manager, everything will just need to hook into this worker list. The first thing that did was the brain modification watcher. Okay, so it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't use the terrain that was already created. That's kind of strange. Because we actually do create the terrain in the loading scene, and I guess that was a mess up on my part. Do I want to have a specific object? I don't think so. I was gonna say, do I want to have a specific object just to create it in the initial time? That seems like a waste. So controller, want to subscribe to the worker list. Let's see. Okay, intro setup work. And we have 2 listeners, so a simple listener, net terrain, and new simple listener, cancel init terrain. I don't think this, well, we don't ever call this now, and even if we did, this object wouldn't care because just sets it up in one frame. But will this, wait, this is I'm not sure why this even called oh, the reason because it called this terrain mesh change, which caused another object to actually set up the terrain mesh. This class doesn't need to subscribe to this at all. It should be the display link, because this is what actually created the object. Yeah, this is a little unneeded. Okay, so here it's all good, but this terrain mesh change, I don't actually know what I would. I guess I just need to reset these shared meshes, but I wouldn't like have to create the objects over again. So let me just copy this. Then change this to refresh meshes. Because I know at least for the collision, you do have to like reset the meshes every time. Can I grab those? The number of chunks will never change because the size of the map doesn't change. I guess I just did that in case. Really here, all I need to do is just set this part again. Although really the chunk index is also the same. Okay, so yeah, this, I think I just have to reset these shared meshes, so that. Do I still add it to the list somewhere? Okay, I think that was actually a bug in the previous code. So yeah, we're just adding that. Everything. And then here, I don't have to do this again. Wrong. I don't really need that. I'll leave this in case it gets reset in some time I don't expect. Okay, and then chunk equals chunks. Okay, and that's all that has to be there, but then, yeah, at the end of initialize terrain, we would call refresh meshes. And I actually need to keep my reference to the worker list. because after this I need to say that I'm done. Work complete. That's it. And then cancel, I don't have to do anything. It's modification watcher, it doesn't need this stuff. I guess it will still call this terrain mesh change, but all this does is just watch for this message or change, which I don't think it's ever actually called yet. So something does. Okay, let's remove block tester. Oh yeah, which I was just testing removing a block to see if that would actually do anything, but it doesn't run right now. Okay, so now that's all set up. Monster model creator is the other thing that uses realize map. That's work list or worker list? I just realized that it's kind of a funny name, but okay, so setup work equals get or subscribe to worker list. Oh, it's actually play. Setup. There we go. Full listener. Generate and new full listener. Cancel generate, which we won't actually do anything. Okay, and I think we're pretty much done here, except after we create everything, I just need to call the setup work complete. Alright, let's see if there's any errors in Unity. Okay, something else uses realize map. Oh yeah, this prefab per monster loader I can actually delete. That was the old monster loading class, which we don't need anymore. Alright, it looks like we're all good. I think when I press play, everything should work how it used to. And it does. Great, and I finally got rid of that realize map message. Okay, so now that's all done. I can just have the animation positioner. Also just, well no, this class would need to set the initial positions, I think. I guess that's the easiest way to do it. I kind of wish that it would be like separate and it would be something in the actual intro manager that would do it. Which I guess I could have the intro manager do it after all its work is done. But I guess it's not really a huge deal. Because again, I don't know exactly how these scenes will be entered into normally. Okay, so yeah, private claim position command. Okay, position command equals claim message and then I just need to set a message archetype. Okay, and then down here, oh, I can actually just call it after we create each model. Oh no, we have the data and the battle, so this is fine. So position command, send to, and we know that the model ID is just the monster ID, and the position is X position from board index, and we can just pass the board and the index for this monster. I position. Alright, so I think now positions will be initially set up. They'll still be rotated the wrong way because we're not doing rotation right now, but it would be something similar. Okay, we actually got an error. Not set to an object. Oh, I don't actually use the game data. Or I haven't gotten a reference to the game data. So get component. Let's try it now. Hey Rainbow Kappa TV, thanks for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so seems like the position is a little off. Oh, good to hear. Shouldn't the position just be 0, 0? Oh, you know what? Yeah, the positions are set to the bottom of their feet, so it actually needs to be one layer lower than they are. So, I think I have, yeah, this is a position logic. I can just reuse this. I don't actually have to get the monster anymore because I do know that. And the position is just a command, so yeah. So really the only thing I had to do is to subtract one from the layer. So pretty much the same thing as I had before. Alright, I think now it's good. Obviously they look funny now because the animation flag was set for them to go into quote rotate mode, which we really doesn't do anything right now, but yeah, they're actually positioned correctly. So now we can move on to trying to get them to move. And so what I want to do is, instead of setting this set boolean, let's call animation do linear move, and each monster will just move it one position to its north, or one position to its I guess northeast should be fine. Maybe that'll just be one row upwards, so yeah. So we'll need to get their position. Local position equals monster dot position. And so we have what is this? Is it? I know we have a position utilities class, but I forget what I named it. Okay, I did type it all out. Create, and it's just position column position dot row. Then we add one to it because we want it to be to the northeast, and to get that you just add a row, and it'll be the same layer. Okay, so now we got the target position. And let's just, for testing, we'll have it move the timer. I guess that's the simplest. And set to 1 second. Or let's actually do it longer so we can see. Maybe not that long. Okay, so now when I play, it's going to give me a null reference exception, I think. Yeah, I cannot access field, do linear move. Actually, is that? I don't know if that's the error I was expecting. Nope, that's not the code I have here. Oh yeah, I have do move linear. Maybe I should just remove this to like move linear instead of do move linear. Okay, that's fine. I know that's gonna. I need to rename these, but I'll just wait to do that because I might change my mind again. Alright, so what do I do now? My dog's getting wild again. Although I am glad to hear those barks because, yeah, she wasn't feeling too good a couple days ago and would not have done that. But I do apologize if it's annoying. Anyway, okay, so now... Oh, I need to actually create this class, so... Oh yeah, but I was going to start on the other end of the spectrum, which is in the UX class, which actually will do the movement. So I have this linear mover. And for now, I'm just going to assume that this is the only class that will use the timer and speed. But we'll obviously want to have some separate class that helps us with those because a bunch of different animation scripts will need to synchronize based on a timer or a speed. So might as well make that some code in common. So we'll have public, or I guess it'd be private. Execute. Okay, and we don't have a command yet. I don't really know. These animation commands should probably be in another namespace. Because even though these things are only in the play namespace, the other ones are not. I mean, the commands, as we can see, could happen during the build. I don't know, I think a lot of this namespace stuff is not that helpful. I'll just leave it for now and maybe we'll move them around later. So let me see, what do I want to call this? I guess this will just be, make things simple. I won't have a separate command for each type of movement, so Yeah, this will just be a movement command. Then obviously the linear mover. Okay, well we'll need to figure out exactly how that will work, but enumeration, so movement command type. We'll have linear, arc, and rotate. I don't need to have, I don't know, I guess it depends on how complicated this is. But this linear mover might end up just taking care of all these movement commands. Because there's going to be a lot of code in common, and the only difference really between a linear mover and an arc movement is the Y position. So anyway, so we have public movement command type. This will be type, and then we'll have command synchronize, which would be timer, speed, animation. Then we might have other things like, well, this ought to, yeah, I don't really want this to be just specific to the movement commands, but yeah, when we get to that point, now we need to extract it. I'll do it then. Well, actually, I don't know, because the only other thing that I could think of that you'd want to synchronize would be to like synchronize an animation to a timer, but because of the way the Unity thing works, it doesn't actually, can't actually do that. Actually, now that I think about it, I wonder, it'd be kind of nice if using Unity's animation system, we could also change the translation for an object. Which I know you can do, but I don't know if you can have it move to a specific position. Kind of think not. You can have it move to like any random position. You can have it move to a predefined position, which is fine, but I guess let's look. We open up EggDino. I don't think I can like change the, like give this a programmed position to move to. Yeah, so I think we'll have to continue with the system that I'm building. Trying to think of any other use cases like. I don't know. You can, like I said, this is, I'm trying to write everything as expandable as possible so that if something else comes up, it won't be too difficult to add more things into it. So, oh yeah, and we also need the model ID, of course, and the public X position. I guess we'll have a target position and also actually, yeah, I think I will just. No, I keep going back and forth, but if I try to fit all the movement commands into one little structure, I'm not really going to gain much, but it's going to get more complicated. So, because I'd have to have a target position and then also, I guess in that case I don't need those. But also for arc, I'd have to have the arc height, and for rotate, I'd have to have target angle. Yeah, so this will keep things more separated anyway. So what else do I need? I guess the sync argument, which is the speed or timer length. And right now I don't even support animation, so alright, so now I have that. So linear and really, it's basically going to be exactly the same as the arc movement, except the Y position doesn't have the arc height, but I mean the code is so simple I don't know if it really matters. Okay, so I guess one thing is I'll need some class to keep track of the state. Okay, so current movement. I guess I could just keep a reference to the movement command itself. And I don't know. I guess an at, either this would be an at time or at position. If I had speed, then I might want like acceleration and things like that. So a good point, actually. I can add in acceleration or damping. So anyway, at this point, it can actually just be private. And then we'll have a private list, current movement. And I guess I'll just call this current. I'll go ahead and create it because I know I'll forget later. So we'll subscribe message for a linear movement command, and this message arc type. Not sure why. Oh, I see. Again, this will be a command, which basically means only has one subscriber, but many different claims. That's true. Why is this complaining to me? Oh, I have to actually pass the function that will be called. Okay, so there we go. And so really all I need to do is just create this current movement class. And I could try to worry about like caching this, but not a big deal right now. So let's see. So new move equals that is 0, and then I just add this to the list. Oh yeah, I always do that. Okay, so I guess I need to subscribe to the update function. Okay, that was kind of weird, but so yeah, just tick. So what this does is it just generates a function that will be called every frame. And the reason I don't use Unity's update here is because I like to have more fine control over the order that every update function is called. So I know you can do that with the script execution order in Unity, but to me it's just easier to. I don't even have anything in there right now, but to me it's just easier to do it this way. But actually, probably want to have something after normal for like UX. Well, now that I think about it, this class is going to need to be able to message back when the movement is done. So probably the command. Yeah, we're going to have to like insert like a movement index or something, the command, but I'll just wait to do that later. So if current count is greater than 0, then we want to have something like update movement. Probably have a bool because if it's done, we'd want to remove it from the list. So 4. And if we're going to remove stuff, I should start at the end of the list. So greater than equal to 0 and I minus minus. Again, this has to start at count -1. So if update movement current I true, then we just call current at I. And the reason we go through backwards when we do this is because if we went forwards, take for example if we had 2 objects in the list, but then index 0 needed to be removed, then when we call this remove at, then the index 1, which hasn't been updated yet, would move to index 0, but then the for loop would move I up to 1, so we'd skip stuff. So that's why if you're going to remove things from a list while iterating through it, you need to go backwards. And just give me a second, I need to blow my nose. Alright, thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know, my nose. Sometimes it tends to kind of stuff up a bit when I start to get tired or talk a lot, so I think that's what's happening, because I didn't really do anything, so yeah, I do apologize if I start to sound stuffy. But, okay, so let's get back to this. So basically what we do here depends on what the command type is. So right now I'm just going to do a timer. That's the easiest thing. So move at plus equals. Yeah, I guess we will need the delta time, huh? Okay, so delta time. I guess it doesn't matter, but I will need a reference to the models now. Okay, so models, let's just not be lazy and I'll just get a reference to the transform. And then I'm gonna be using some other Unity objects in here. So transform T is models and model ID dot transform. So transform dot position equals vector3 lerp. Okay, so I don't actually have the current position right here. I should probably get it. The start position. And actually, I need something to actually like get the start position. I mean, it's pretty simple, but since we do have a little bit here where we subtract 1, it'd be nice if there was a query I could call. So yeah, I'll go ahead and take care of that. So we'll claim query. I think I'll just return the actual position. So, and then what do I pass here? Model ID. Yes, I guess just an integer. So get position. Model ID, and that's just this pretty much, except we don't set the position. Alright, so... Oh, except I actually need to get this. Okay, yeah, so this is actually a little different because we want to get the current position, but really that's not what I want to do. I want to translate a certain hex math or a certain hex position to position for a monster to stand inside of it. I guess I really don't. I don't like having to subtract -1 because that's just asking for trouble later on down the road if I need to change it. Okay, so maybe instead of a hex position or an integer, I should just pass a hex position. Okay, so that's cool, I think. And so here I would get position and position. Okay, so whenever somebody calls this query, then we're good to go. So I need to get or keep the start position. I guess I need a handle on that query now. Okay, so we get a vector3 from a hex position. You know what, I could just put this in hex math, now that I think about it. Instead of using a query. That might be easier. It's really the same thing. So public static vectors get model position. No, not model ID, so it'd be a hex position, and then we still need the board metrics. That's really the only thing against this, is that we don't want to have to have a reference to the metrics, but it is one less query. I don't know what's better. Kind of prefer this. Maybe instead of model, I should rename it to monster position in case that changes for other models. Probably, well, no, I'll make sure that it stays the same. The model should just be centered so that 0, 0 is in the middle of the hexagon at their feet. Okay, so where was I? I was getting this query, but I don't need to do that anymore. So hex math, get model position, and I don't actually have that just yet. The more I think about it, we don't really need a whole lot in this command. Let's get rid of that. So we have a model ID, and then I guess we'll need the. Right now, I'm just gonna that. So we'll have a start position and also a final position. Okay, so if I do this, I'm going to need to get the battle because I'll need to know a monster's initial position. Or no, I just use their start position would be the position of the actual model, the position of the actual model at this point. I still need the database because I'll need to get the board metrics. That's a good point. Should the linear command should maybe not like have to be at a hex position, but maybe it should be at any like world position in case I wanted to do like in between hex movement for a cutscene or something. Yeah, well the linear mover doesn't actually care about the hexagons, so that might be best for that. Matter of fact, maybe the positioner shouldn't either. Okay, the only problem with that is that the game data doesn't know about this hex math class. And I kind of want it to stay that way. I think hex position, are they integers? Yeah, it isn't. Because I was gonna say you could have like fractional rows and columns, but doesn't. No, you can't actually. I don't know. I think I'm trying to think too far ahead. Yeah, so if I ever have to do that, then I don't know. We could have a vector 3 offset or something, but I don't even know when that would happen. Definitely not during the actual game. It would just be like a cutscene or something. Okay, so yeah, database. Controller, get component. Okay, so model ID is command dot model ID, and the timer period is command dot sync arg for now. Alright, and the start position. I guess actually now could have done it in line. Start position is actually just the models, command model ID, transform position, and the final position is x math get model position for the command, and then the database metrics. Okay, so now we got all that out of the way. I've got to get the transform again, like that, and then we'll lerp from the move start position to the target position, or I call it final position here, and this would be movement at divided by move timer period. And Unity will take care of clamping this, so if, for example, at is already above timer period, then it's not like it will overshoot the final position. And then we returned move.at is greater than move timer position. Because if we're past the timer, then we know that this movement is done. So I think that's all I have to do. Let's actually this once it stops compiling, and hopefully the monsters will start to move. Okay, I actually did get an error. Not access field column of user data board position. Oh. Actually, what? Where? I have actually not set up everything. Oh, maybe the name is wrong. Do I have to spell out column and row? I bet that's what I have to do. Okay, but yeah, it's not going to do anything because I just realized I haven't done the scripts in the middle, like the script that takes the Lua function, so we're still going to get a null reference. Yeah, on move linear, because right here, this function is not created yet. Stop that, and we'll go back up to the game logic. So, this will be Lua do movement. I don't think there's any reason for me to have a bunch of different classes for each type of movement in this case, because really all this is going to be is Lua script handler. I think I'll copy code just as a base. Alright, so I don't need all this stuff. Please the model ID. That though. I guess I'll leave it just as a pattern. Okay, so we have linear. Yeah, and I like to prefix all these with Lua to show that they're a function that's called from Lua. I need to get the moon sharp. Okay, so got a lot more here. We have the target and then the board position. Final position and string sync type float argument. Okay, so really we just need to make sure that all these are valid. So what I do, target is really the same as it's called get model ID. So I have to do this. Maybe this get model ID should be pulled out to the animation script manager. I think so. It does though. Oh, this should be the Lua interface monster. Gonna make me do that a couple times. It's fine though. Okay, so here and then also in the parameter command. Oh, that's not right. This one. It should just call the animator get model ID instead of its own class. Oh, manager, I think is what I called it. So check parameter name. Yeah, that can stay in here because we're not going to use that. That's just for animation parameters. We will have something like this to check a timer, but for now I'm just going to kind of write everything in line so I don't think about it too much. Okay, so this would be a linear movement bug name. Okay, so oh, okay, I see what I was doing there. Guess that's fine. But I don't really need the model name actually. But that really makes a difference. So what I need to do is make sure this final position is good. And I guess I'll just make sure it's in bounds. So I guess I'll convert it to a hexagon position first. Final position. Then if hex is on board, gotta get a reference to battle so I can know the current board. Just for dimensions, really. Yeah, if this is false. And for now, like I said, if we want to allow movement outside the board, then we probably would want to allow movement in between hexagons, but I don't really know. Like I said, there'd be no time you'd want to do that except. Would you want to do that? Because, like, now that I think about it, probably be nice to be able to do like a fractional position. I don't actually support that. Because, okay. Yeah, let's just do it without fractional movement. I can always change it pretty easily. Fractional target options. I could see, I don't know, if before dash wanting to move back like a quarter of a hexagon or something. Or even like absolute positions instead of like just giving a hexagon to actually something in the XY plane. I don't know. Let's see about that. Well, I should try to make it as flexible as possible, but let's just get this working. Anyway, this will be a script. Runtime exception. Final is out of bounds. And then the final is we need to make sure that the synchronized type is valid. So if string is null or empty, then we throw new script. Runtime exception, no synchronize type given. Okay, and then we'll switch sync type upper and variant. And for now, we're just gonna support timer. So I probably should get the synchronized type. So what was it? Int command sync type. I thought we were in the same namespace. Oh. Oh, I forgot to rename this. Yeah, I did find out a way that you can change this default namespace, but I think now I've done so much work it might cause trouble if I try to set that. Let's rename this to sync type string, and yeah, that's a float. Okay, so case timer sync type equals timer, and then if it's anything else, then we'll want to throw a synchronized type not recognized. Legal synchronized type given, and then yeah, pass it there. String format. Okay, I think. Oh yeah, I should just zero at the beginning so it won't say it's un. Oh, alright, now it's telling me it's not ever used, which is fine. I think that's all the validation I need to do. I guess the synchronized arg can't be negative. If sync. Also, since this is a timer, it can't be 0 either, but that'd be different. So the argument is actually different, whatever, depending on the type. So Timer length, or let's timer period must be greater than 0. Okay, so now I would just call the manager, do movement, to do linear movement. Model ID is what? I need some variable to put the out argument in, even though I don't actually use it. So we have the model ID, sync type argument. Oh yeah, and the target position. Do we name this to target hexagon? I think that's it. Yeah, it is 4. So yeah, we can get rid of that. Go ahead and get rid of these other functions. I don't know why it inserted it right there. I guess I was trying to be alphabetical, but okay, so here I do something similar. If we won't have to do an error, so that's nice. If in logging state, otherwise we'd want to movement on the commander. And here I'll just need to have another message claim for the linear movement command. Right, so the linear move equals controller, claim message, and yeah, it's the command archetype. Then I just send along the command object. I kind of like I like the idea of this class because it keeps all these message objects out of the main script manager, but on the other hand, it doesn't really do much. It's a little useless, but okay, and then also here, yeah, cannot call animations in the script. I want to make sure I kept that. So in the script manager, I just need to create this Lua do movement, and I think that's all. I think I can actually call the script and maybe model will move. Okay, yeah, this is. It should be fixed now. It's just when I had to rename that namespace, it got confused. Script manager, logger. Okay, we know that. And here, the battle that we're assigned to. So yeah, I should get that because otherwise it would give me a null reference. Right, once it's compiled, we'll try it out. Oh yay, it is moving. Okay, good. So it moved to the hexagon to its northeast, like I wanted it to. And maybe this one did too, but we couldn't tell. So I'll switch back. I'll just play it again. And now we can look at both of them at the same time. Okay, so it's moving too. Okay, cool. So it looks like got that working. Well, very rudimentary version anyway. So I guess I don't have the speed. I only have by timer right now. But I can add those all in at the same time. So I feel like before I go much further, I should try and do this. Now I'm thinking it would be nice just to give scripts a better handle of or more control over types of animations that will play, but just not sure the best way to do it. Right now, Lua doesn't even have like a float. So if I wanted to give it like fractional coordinates, I guess the best way to do it would be probably the best way to do it would be a vector 3 and like the normal XYZ coordinate system. But I probably would want to make it like agnostic of the actual world size, so I'd make it so that 0, 0 was I don't know the right way to say this, but zero, 0 is in the middle of the first hexagon, and maybe 1 is in the middle of the next one to the east. So yeah, basically the size between here is the hexagon diameter. And I think when you do that, size at this point is like halfway between, but then also it's like the specific math, but it's not quite a total hexagon diameter upwards, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I just need to decide on like the unit length, and that will be from one hexagon to another horizontally. So if I do that, I need to introduce another Lua object that's like just a vector 3. What do I want to call it though? So I have the board position, which is an actual board position, but maybe I'll call it, I don't know, a world position. Okay, so now I have this position utils, and I just have a plain create. But obviously I'm going to change this to create board position, because I'll have to have a create world position as well. And I think that's going to cause some problems with scripts, but it's because I need to rename it. Yeah, the save all command is different here than in Visual Studio, which is a little weird now that I think about it because they're both made by Microsoft. Yeah, so I need to change all these references to create create board position. I'm gonna go ahead and just rename the ones in the comments too, so don't have to worry about that. Okay, so I definitely want to have board position just still be integers because most of the time you just want to have an integer. I guess I could always just have board positions be floats and then it well no. So I was gonna say, and then whenever it needs to go to a hexagon, it would just round everything together. But no, world position doesn't like have neighbors, for example, so I think they are different. Anyway, so this is public, and since we're making a Lua object, I have to type this as user data. And I want to hide the default constructor like always so that Unity can't create these objects, or not Unity, Lua can't create these objects in code. We want it to only be created through that position utils function. And so I'll have another constructor that has these from another game or some other class. Okay, so private float xyz. And the set, well no, this will be immutable. Not like that. Oh. For constructors, you don't have to put void at the beginning. Okay, so this x equals x, this y equals y. I don't really know what would be useful here. Maybe, well, I won't make a bunch of dummy functions. Probably want to be able to add them, but actually in Lua, or I don't think Moonsharp does custom operators very easily, so we'd want to have like a add function or something. Okay, so let's just do something like this. Okay, and then here it'll be float x, y, and z. And I won't do anything with the registry because since these are floats, I guess technically they are discrete, but there's a bunch of different versions of them, so there's no reason to try and cache them. We'll just always create a new world position. This is one way that a Lua script could cause lots of garbage, so we'll need to keep that in mind. I should do throw new not supported exception in case I accidentally call this constructor. And the other thing I want to do is the board position should be able to convert between itself and a world position. Where do I want to put it? I guess right here. Public world position to world position. And so The X is easy because the X is just the column. But the row, like I said, I'm going to need to do a little math. Where do I have that? It's a hex math. Oh, well, I have 2 Cartesian in the hex position itself. I think the way that I do it there is slightly different. I could find it. Okay, yeah, so 2 Cartesian, it gives a vector 2. So x is square root of 3, column, row. Oh yeah, so this is based... Oh right, because okay, so we look up from here. Maybe let me pull up that one website again. Oh, we're actually out of time. Okay, so sorry to leave on a kind of cliffhanger, but I completely lost track of time and I've got to finish up. But basically, if you just look at hexagon grid, the columns, like on column 0, it progresses this way, so the x actually changes with a column. And wait, look, a column progresses this way. I meant the row progresses this way. So each row upward, you actually move over by half. So I don't remember why the square root of 3 is here. If I want the column, or from one center to another, to actually be 1, then I might just multiply everything by the square root of 3. That sounds like a good idea to me, actually. So let's see. How I'll do this. I'll return x position to Cartesian times x position square root of 3. So what this will do... Oh, but it's not giving me a z value. Well, that's easy to fix. So vector 2, Cartesian 2D equals this. We'll just use Unity Engine for now. And then we want to return new world position, Cartesian 2D.x, .y, and then the z will just really be exposition.layer. I guess if I'm going to do that. A little confused. Okay, so yeah, we'll just... well, I guess we can just pretend that the heights are kind of... Technically, this wouldn't be a complete cube because the layers might not be the same. Like, one layer might not be the same length as the radius of or diameter of a hexagon. So I guess we could fix that if at some point we need to, but I don't know if it really matters a whole lot. Okay, so this, if we do this, then our board position 0, 0, 0 will still be 0, 0, 0. Actually, board position 1, 1, 1 would be 0, 0, 0 because 1, 1, 1 is Lua indexes. And then, so hex 2, 1, 1 would be 1, 0, 0 because we multiply the square root. Look back here. So that basically just makes it column plus row times 2. I mean, column plus row divided by 2 is x, which makes sense looking at the map. don't think it'll let me load right now. Alright, come on, Unity. Just want to look at the hexagon map so I can make sure the math makes sense. Okay, so yeah, right here. Yeah, so every row adds 1/2 of world position to the vector. And then we'll just, and of course columns don't move up, so it's just based on the row. And so this actually is 3 times the square root of 3 divided by 2 times the row, which is... Oh, so I actually needed this to divide by a square root of 3 instead of multiplying here. Yeah, so this is actually 3 divided by 2 times the square root of 3. That should be good enough. I mean, obviously, it'd be a little better if I didn't have to divide by a square root of 3, but not a huge deal. I should write a note here. Divide by square root of 3, so 1 unit is the diameter of a hexagon from east to west. Okay, then also, yeah, z coordinate is not, or I guess has different units than x and y. Is that okay? So yeah, we might have to come back to that. Anyway, so a bit of a longer stream tonight. I hope I've been mostly just programming and math, but that's okay. We've started to make some progress on the animation system. We should be able to knock out this stuff faster as we go, so I'm looking forward to that. But hope you all had a great night, and if you want to catch up on any streams, I do upload everything to my YouTube channel. If you want to be notified when I go live tomorrow around 8:30 Eastern, you can follow me here on Twitch or also on Twitter. I always post there when I go live. And finally, if you'd like to chat with me and other viewers throughout the day, I do have a Discord channel, and I definitely love to have you there. To get links to any of those places, just type !YouTube, Twitter, or Discord into chat, or check out my channel and video descriptions. I'll have links there as well. So yeah, that's it for me for tonight. Hope you all have a great night, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.